Guys, welcome back to my channel. I've gone ahead and I've made a summer transfer request, which has been accepted by Coach's desk for Coach Devon. It's a short-term contract, but we have made an agreement for an undisclosed fee. So Coach will be joining me today to preview the Costa Rica match. How are you, Coach?
I'm pretty good, Crystal. It's a pleasure for me joining you. Uh, it's always a pleasure to discuss football.
I agree. I agree. How's the weather? Because it's really hot over here.
Yes, it's hot in Canada as well. It's about with the humidity is probably 36 degrees, so
Yeah.
it's pretty hot right now. As you can see, I'm sitting in my car, but my AC is on.
Amazing. What's your thoughts on our first two matches? So first against Suriname and also against Guadeloupe, which we've managed to take maximum points from both of our first two games.
I think there were two good games. I wouldn't say excellent games, but the boys were cautious in going into, especially the first game. We don't really know much about the Suriname team. I know that they acquired a few players from Holland, from the Dutch league, and they're pretty good players. So we were very cautious in going into that game. We never want to leave ourselves exposed. We know we have good players, and we know if we stick to the coach's plan, then we might come through with results in that game. The second game, which is the Guadeloupe game, was a little bit more. Uh, I wasn't. I'm not gonna say I was worried about the game, but I think Guadeloupe defend well. They stick to the task. I mean, I think they did their work on the boys, and they come out to defend. Uh, it was an okay game for me. In the second half, I think after they went in for the break and they came out, maybe Coach Tapper spoke to the boys and give them a little bit of tongue lashing, and they came out the last 30 minutes in the game. I could not believe my eyes. We were attacking them. They couldn't come out of their half. We were attacking them all over. And I was saying to myself, where has this been? Why we couldn't come out like this in the first half playing like this? I mean, when you look at it, we created chances. We created a lot of chances. We have a lot of missed chances, clear cut chances. We should have come out of this game at least 6 goals, 5-1. They get an own goal, but I think we should have scored at least 5 goals, and now we wouldn't be so cautious going into the other game, which is the Costa Rica game, because if we win the group, it might be a. I'm not gonna say Canada is an easier game, but it's probably be a more manageable game.
That's a bit of a tricky one though, isn't it? Because from the Canada game, from what I've read, the scoreline didn't actually reflect the match itself. So although USA won 1-0, USA weren't necessarily the better side. So maybe I think at this stage it doesn't really matter who you get, whether it's Canada or the USA respectively. We just have to be up to the task, because I think both teams can potentially cause us problems if we're not focused. Like, when you watch back the Guadeloupe match, there were periods where we lost focus, particularly in the first quarter of the game. We seemed a little bit disjointed. Like you said, definitely they did do their homework on us, and it got the better of us, and we found ourselves 1-0 down in the early stages of the game. And that was purely due to the fact that they did not allow us to settle.
You're absolutely right. I think what happened, I think they came out to play fast, and try to pressure us, to high press us, to get us off our game. And it did work in the second half, in the first half rather. It did work. And I think what happened with the boys is that they were getting too anxious. Anxiety starts setting in because why are we gonna draw with a Guadeloupe team which we think and know that we should beat easily, and they start getting a bit anxious. But I think all in all, overall, I mean, they got the win, and they have to be thankful for that win. And now that they're in the next round, and they have the final game tomorrow against a Costa Rica team, I think they should be. I hope they're not very complacent. I hope they're not very complacent going into this game, and they have to go in and take the bull by the horn, because I always refer to the bull and the matador. If you don't kill the bull is gonna kill you.
I definitely agree. I think we need to brush aside the complacency because that was on show in our last game. And let's look at Costa Rica for a second. The danger man for them is none other than Joel Campbell. He's got 2 goals and 1 assist in their first 2 games. What do you make of Joel Campbell, and how dangerous can he be against our defense?
Well, Joel Campbell, first and foremost, I I I must say I had watched him over the years, even when he was at Arsenal, and I must commend him. He's a very good player. I don't know if he gets that talent because of his background. His background is Jamaican.
Yes.
So
I love it. We have to be biased sometimes.
we have to be biased sometimes, yes. But he's a very good player, and he can be dangerous. He will pop up into certain areas, and if we don't keep an eye on him, he can hurt us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what do you make of their defense? Because they are a little bit fragile at the back, aren't they? They've already conceded 2 goals in 2 matches. A bit like ourselves, they have shown a bit of defensive fragility. Our defensive fragility, unfortunately, has come in the middle of the park, and that comes down to also a defensive problem, but also a attacking problem. So a bit like ourselves, they also look a little bit fragile.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think the problem with them is that they have their defense line is a bit ageable. They're not as quick as they used to be, but they're veterans. They have been playing this game a long time, and they understand how to see a game through. The good thing for Jamaica is that I think they lost Calvo and Weston.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the defensive pair, and I don't think they will be a factor in this game. I think
Mm-hmm.
they're out. Calvo got a red card, I think, the
Yeah.
last game, and I'm not sure if Weston is injured or he's on a yellow card. But I think both of them are out for this game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That could only be a benefit for us, can't it?
Well, absolutely. I think Jamaica should look into that and probably put the best attacking team out there to
Mm-hmm.
see if we can get a result, because result is important, because I would prefer to play Canada, as I said, instead of the United States, because the United States, they are a little bit of nemesis to Jamaica. And so I prefer to play Canada, because the US has been a bit of a nemesis to us over the years, and I think Canada, we know about them. We play them several times, and I think we have the better record against them. Um, in terms of the US, if we get the US, this is not the same US team that beat us in Austria. I think we know about them, and we know what they can do. So I think Coach Tapper Whitmore will be cautious and he will make the necessary changes because I think we have to make changes going into this Costa Rica game because of yellow card issues and people might pick up niggling injuries here and there. But if you look at the Costa Rica team over the years, they have been a formidable foe to Jamaica because I have a little bit of stats here. We played them 28 times. We lost 13, um, four we won 4 and drawn 11. So you can see they have a bit of an edge on us. September, the month of September, if we were playing them in September, I would be happy because I'm looking at the games that we won against them. They were all in September. In 95, we beat them, and 96, 97, and the last time we beat them was 2010. Since then, we haven't gotten a win against them. Now, in Gold Cup in July, we got a tie against them in a Gold Cup 93. And the friendly after that in July again, the 25th, we got a 1-1 tie as well. So July might be some sort of a month that we can get a result against them. Maybe this time around we will get the win.
And for Canada as well. Are you going for Canada? Is that a little bit of a bias because that is where you're based?
Um, yes and no. I because I'm based here and I have people in my ears all the time talking about Canada will beat Jamaica. I want to settle the score once and for all
Okay,
and to let them know that we are the better team and I think we will get the win against them.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay. And so that would be the quarterfinal fixture. So we have to complete the group stage. We're already through, like Costa Rica from our group, but our final group game is against Costa Rica. And then from there, we will either face Canada or the USA. So we'd have to keep a close eye on that and see who will be taken on. And hopefully we can get past either side.
Hopefully, true. Um, at some point in time, I think we will face either because I think in the semifinals, if we get to one of them and get into the semifinals, we might meet one in the finals. But I don't know who we will get into in the semifinals if we get to the semifinal. Maybe Mexico,
Mm-hmm.
and Mexico has been. I think they're the better team in the best team in the tournament right now because I think they have all of their players except about maybe 3 or 2. So they have a very good team.
Mexico is a bit like USA for us, like when it comes to that rivalry. They are the one country that I'm like, you know what, I don't want to lose against the Mexicans. Tough opponents to break down and to get a result against them. You really need to be on your A game as a collective.
Yes, absolutely. At no point in time I would like to face Mexico. But it is what it is. We have to face them at some point because it's a tournament and if you get to the last 4 and we get into the finals then we have to meet them. So I mean it is what it is. Only God will tell who will win that game. But I think this time around Coach Tapper Whitmore and his troops are prepared to play anybody.
I agree, and you know, like we said before, this is a cup, this is a tournament competition. To be the best, you have to beat the best. So, like you said, whether we face Canada or whether we face USA in the quarterfinals, at some point we will have to face one of them. And then, like you've quite rightly put it, if we're not facing either team, then we have the Mexicans to think about. So there's so many different countries that could potentially prove to be difficult opponents against us.
Absolutely. Even I was watching the Honduras team. They have a good team. They have a very dynamic team. They they play together. They play fast football, and they can be a thorn as well in our skin. But as I said, I think the team is well prepared for the task at hand. Whosoever we get to play, I think we will have a good game.
Absolutely, and let's focus on our boys for a brief second. And let's look at our firepower, because I know a lot of people have been quite critical of our firepower, in particularly when with regards to substitutions, wanting substitutions to be made in a better time. They want substitutions to be made sooner rather than later, and you can't disagree with them, especially when you look back at our last game, only winning that 2-1 at the death. You can put it that way if you like, with Junior Fleming scoring the match winner. And it was a beautiful goal from Flemings as well. But I think it's also important to remind ourselves that the players who have gone up top for us, so our forward or our strikers, have each found the back of the net. So that is Nicholson, Bobby Reed, Corey Burke, and Junior Flemings.
Absolutely. I think we have enough firepower to see us through. Um, I'm anxious to see Andre Gray. I have watched him over the years at Watford. As a matter of fact, I was the one who really scouted him and recommended him to the Jamaica football manager to say, take a look at this player. I think he can help us. And he's finally here. And in the last game, I thought he would have gotten a little bit more time. But I think what happened in terms of substitution is that people wanted to see him earlier. But the thing about it was, I think because of the nature of the game, the coach probably got caught up into the game and sometimes he forget things. I mean, he's only human. Anything can happen. I mean, look at it. He was a player once. And if the game is not going, so he probably kind of lose track of what's going on in the surrounding and start focusing more on the game. And I think that's what really happens. But all in all, I think this Costa Rica game, I am looking to see Andre starting in this game. I'm not the coach, but from what I'm hearing and what he's doing in training, I think he's doing the right thing. So I think he warrants a start in this game.
Or do you think it's something that's just, a little bit too much?
Well, I'm not one who bash players. I don't like to bash players because I've been there before. So I know you will have an off day. Okay? He missed clear cut chances, yes. But I mean, he wasn't having a good game, and everybody see he wasn't having a good game. But is that right for you or anybody or me to say, okay, um, he's not good. He shouldn't be on the team. I don't think it's fair because in the first game when he scored, everybody loved him. So he was just having a off day. So I'm not critical of him to say he shouldn't be there. I mean, it's a reason why he's there.
Absolutely agreed. I think we sometimes, as football fans, we do tend to have short-term memory. As you've quite rightly put it, he did get a goal in the first match, and like I've said, everyone so far up top have found the back of the net. And long may it continue. So, who would be your two players that you would put up top?
Um, I would I would start with Corey and Andre. I definitely, because of the work rate both gives, and I would probably make a few more changes.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would give Amari Bell a rest. He
Mm-hmm.
has played in the last two games, and I would bring in Kemar Taxi Lawrence. And if Liam Moore with his yellow card, I
Yes.
probably would give him a rest. If the card is going to affect him any at all, if he gets another card in Costa Rica game and it's going to affect him in the quarterfinal, I would give him a rest and I would bring in the veteran Adrian Maraapa. And
Mm-hmm.
at right back, I'll probably stay with Alvas Powell. Um, on I'll stay with Leon Bailey. I probably give Blair Turgott a rest as well and bring in Junior Fleming. He got a goal the last game. And
Mm-hmm.
in terms of my midfielders, I'll stick with DJ and Michael Hector because we
Mm-hmm.
need somebody in the park to do the dirty work. And I think Hector will do the dirty work.
Yeah, just to pick up on what you've said in relation to the yellow cards, we do have a couple players who picked up yellow cards in the last game. So a
Hmm.
few of those players were, like you've said, Moore, Powell, and also Leon Bailey as well. So they do need to tread carefully going into that final group stage,
Absolutely.
final match of the group stage.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know what? I think we have enough creative player. I haven't seen the young kid. Um, what's his name again?
McGee.
McGee. Yeah, he's a live wire, and
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see him in the middle of the park going at these Costa Ricans
Mm-hmm.
because he is a live wire, and anything around the box, and he picks that ball up and dribble inside. I warrant you they're gonna foul him and he's gonna either get free kicks and penalties, and he can be dangerous as Ravel called him, the Jamaican David Silva, the little man.
That speaks volumes in itself, doesn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. And
Brilliant.
yeah, brilliant. And not to stray from the point a bit, I watched a little bit of the Derby Manchester United game
Mm-hmm.
with
Mm-hmm.
Ravel, and I think he's gonna find his feet. I think he looks good in that game. I'm not gonna say he was brilliant, but for a player who has not been playing football for a long time, I think he did well in that game.
That's the thing with Ravel, though. Nobody can doubt his talent. Like he was born to play football. It's very obvious. It's just for me, it's for him right now. He needs to find a club and he needs to settle down. So, I'm hoping, like all Jamaican football fans, that he can find that right club, whether it be at Derby County with Rain Rooney or whether it could be somewhere else. He just needs to find a club now because this is the peak years of his career, isn't it? He needs to just settle down now and just ride out the rest of his career. No disruptions, no moving from here to there. Although these transfers are so unpredictable, but I think he just needs some stability now.
Yes, the lad he's 28 years old, and he's in the peak of his career.
Mm-hmm.
He just need to settle down, but uh, I mean all the good ones. I mean, at some point in time, they need some help. Maybe
Absolutely.
a little bit of counseling. Somebody need to take him under their wings and said, "Listen, man. I mean, your football is impeccable. I mean, we need to get you on the right track and see where we get Ravel from here." When Ravel comes a different team, he's gonna give it a different look, and I mean, people is gonna look at him and says, "Wow, he's back."
And you touched on Big Heck, and I love that because I do think he deserves the credit. I think people are being a little unfair with their criticism of Michael Hector because I think they expect him to do poorly or to perform poorly. But for me, I think he's answered a few of his critiques over the last two games. I think he's put in some fine work, and he does deserve to be credited.
Absolutely. I think Hector deserve more credit than what he's getting. Look, he is a central defender playing in a holding midfield role, which he has been doing for Jamaica over the years. And I'm not going to say he is the perfect CDM, but he's been doing a job. And in the last two games, I must tell you, I'm impressed with what he's doing. I think he has settled down. He's not dribbling out of the middle of the park anymore. He breaks the tackles up. When he gets the ball, he's trying to connect the passes with his teammate. And if you look at his game, his long balls break the back lines all the time. He plays those 60 yards and 50 yards passes very well. So people need to give him more credit.
I agree with you, and I also think at this stage it's important to keep that connection in midfield going. So where you've said you'd like to keep Johnson and Big Heck in the midfield, I do agree with that. Although the midfield is our weakest area, perhaps um, knowing that Morrison wasn't going to be able to play for us, most certainly not at the group stage or maybe for the duration of the tournament. I'm a little bit disappointed that they didn't look elsewhere, maybe even look at someone like Martin Davis, who has been playing his trade in Malta for some seasons now, and he's been doing quite well.
Doing well in Malta. But I don't know what's going on with him and the federation, because he came up to our youth system and he has been good playing for the youth team, and I think he plays a couple senior team games. But after that, I mean, I don't know what happened. There are other players, even Kevin Stewart. Kevin Stewart could have, because he's in the pool of 60, he could have gotten a call up, because he is a true CDM. And I think he could bring something to this team, make it be more stable in the middle of the park.
Mm-hmm. 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 Well, like you've said, at one point Martin Davis was like our poster boy, particularly at the youth team level, because he has played for the under 17s and I believe the U20s as well. He's yet to feature for the senior side. It's a little bit disappointing. I'm not sure why that is. That could come down to politics. Because a bit like Morrison, the talent is most certainly there. So it would be nice. It's a bit too late now to say that Martin Davis should receive a call up to be in the Gold Cup tournament with us. Little too late for us. Little too late for that now. But maybe going into the World Cup qualifiers, if it's not to have him in the starting 11, which I can't see happening now, again, that could be in relation to politics. But if you're looking at squad depth and having a well-rounded midfield, I think Martin Davis is a player that is definitely worth consideration, and I think he should receive a call up for the World Cup qualifiers.
Yes, I mean, all is not lost. I mean, I think the season in Malta is coming up. Certainly, I think they're gonna keep an eye on him and see how he's progressing and so forth. And if he warrants a call up, I'm pretty much sure the coach will take a look at him and he will give him a call.
Yes, 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 yes. Agree. So, how do you see this game going against Costa Rica? What's your final verdict on it?
I, I I'm saying that Jamaica 2-1. I would like to get a 2-1 result. I know it might be hard to keep them out of the goal, but I mean, I would say 2-1, give them a consolation. But all in all, I think we will win that game. With their two top defenders out, I think the game is in our hands. It's I think only us can beat ourselves.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we almost did exactly that in our last game against Guadeloupe. They almost came away with a victory. And I believe that would have been the first time in almost 30 years that they would have received beaten Jamaica and received themselves a deserved victory. Thankfully, that wasn't the case. Sorry to the Guadeloupe fans if you are watching, but I'm obviously going to be biased with my own country and I want my country to beat you guys. So yes, coach. Also,
Absolutely.
also, I have to ask you, how important is it to be the 12th man? Because you've seen players on social media, our players, being that the Jamaican players, calling out for the fans to come behind them, come and support them. How important is it for us to be the best 12th man?
It is very, very important because that extra push that you can give the team, once you can get behind the team and cheer the team on, will give them an extra push. But if you look at the Jamaican fans, a lot of the Jamaican fans are not wearing their colors. They're there, but they're not wearing their colors. And I urge them to put on that colors and get out there so the team can see you in there cheering them on and know that you're behind them 100%.
Because that can prove to be quite pivotal to how we handle these games and how we see out these last crucial matches, can't it?
Absolutely, especially the US. The US have their fans like in numbers, like thousands coming out. And I can remember we played in 97 against Brazil in the Orange Bowl, and there was 40,000 Jamaican fans in that stadium. The next game we played another World Cup game in Washington where Burton scored that goal, and there was a number of Jamaican fans, thousand. So for this last game and going into the quarters and the semis, and if we get to the finals, I urge the Jamaican crowd in the States to come out and cheer on the boys.
I agree with you. You've received the final verdict, guys. You've heard coach. He's going for a 2-1 to Jamaica against Costa Rica, and that match will be played tomorrow. If you're in the UK like myself, the game will be shown live from 12 a.m. So do tune in, and fingers crossed we can close off our final game in the group stage of the CONCACAF Gold Cup 2021 tournament with a massive win. More importantly, with a 3 points. Coach, thank you so much for giving me a moment of your time. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. I hope Coach's Desk don't mind me borrowing his talent. Big up to Coach's Desk as well. Like I said, it's a transfer. Coach did agree to it. He will sign the papers, so nothing legal for me to worry about. But Coach, thank you so much for giving me a moment of your time, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you. It's an absolute pleasure to be here to talk about the boys' game coming tomorrow. And Coach's Desk won't mind because I have alerted him about what's going to happen, and he was 100% behind it.
I love
We
that.
are one big family. We are one big
We are.
family.
We definitely are. We definitely are. So yeah, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for supporting my channel, and likewise the support would always be returned.